How's it going, people? Welcome back to the Supporters Club. If you haven't already, click the link in the description below to subscribe to my channel, Turkish London TV. And obviously, it's been 2 weeks since the last episode, and quite a bit has changed. We've finally got a big name through the door, Nicolas Pepe. Josh Kroenke told us to be excited. I'm on the verge, but I've brought a panel of guests here to talk to us about, you know, how they feel about the Nicolas Pepe signing. Is it a sign of things to come? Is there a change in mentality at Arsenal Football Club? I've got with me Curtis today, back again. Deluded,
Thanks for
obviously
having
a
me,
regular,
man.
and Jordan, who seems to be a regular now as well.
I am, bringing me in, I'm loving
You know
it.
what I mean? But let's start with who I think is the most positive on the panel, because Deluded. Let's not start with why I'm not fully excited yet, but Deluded, like Nicolas Pepe, big name, big signing. What do you think?
First and foremost, I'm excited, man. He's 24 years of age. He's had, in particular, 2 very good seasons. Last season, probably the best one, 20-odd goals and however many assists. We need a winger. He addresses that skill set. I'm quite positive as well. Like you just touched on the Josh Kroenke thing. We normally hear these statements come out of the club and it never comes to anything.
Yeah.
But he said, be excited, expensive players. Technically, he's that. There's a lot of work to be done. It's all good having Pepe. We don't have a centre-half and left-back at this moment in time. But so far, so good. And for me, the main thing is Arsenal fans, we haven't had optimism in our side for the last however many years. And I'm sure after the season we just had, it was on the floor. At least with Pepe, you've got some belief. Seeing is believing. We've got some question marks over how we've played in pre-season defensively. But at least we can get behind something. We're seeing some intent so far, so good from the board. I believe in giving and take. Like, we've had the banners and whatnot, and I support a lot of these movements. And again, the club still need to do a lot to kind of get us on side. But seeing is believing. They said expensive players. Yes, instalments, but at the end of the day, that's a £72 million player. Let's allow him time and let's see what he can do, but we should be optimistic to a degree.
100%, like you just mentioned with the banners. I was on the verge of spending £2 bills on a massive banner. On the verge. Literally, if I'd done that, I'd have been vexed, because the message I was going to be on there was contrary to what we just done, innit? So luckily I didn't do that. But what it is, the message about Kroenke was more than just spending. You know what I mean? So as much as this has appeased us, and I'm not going to lie, I'm happy, I'm excited about it. Pepe was the winger I wanted previous to the Europa League final. I just thought when we lost to Chelsea, we couldn't get a player of that caliber in. So obviously I'm happy, I'm excited, but they've probably given themselves this season as a leeway, especially if we can get Tierney over the line, and especially if we get a centre-back in on loan or what, so be it. They've given themselves the time, but what we need to see is a more proactive approach. When we come to January, if we need something, let's just sort it out quickly, especially next summer. When it comes to next summer, I'd rather just focus on a massive centre-back signing next summer, a 70 to 80 to 90 mil next summer, potentially with Champions League football in our back pocket. But Jordan, you were about to say something regarding...
No, I was going to say, so first of all, I'm excited. I like the look of him. I've watched him for a couple of years now. He's a player that I think will excite us. So I'm glad that we've got him. However, as Deluded says as well, for me, I mean, the last time I was on your show, we were talking about, I think, Zaha. And I was saying that the fans were frustrating me because they bought into the hype around buying Zaha, when really it's a little bit like having a car and putting tints on the windows without putting any petrol in the tank. There's no point. It's all aesthetics, it's all style, but actually what's going to make the car move forward and function? We need defenders, again, as Deluded said. But for me, this year for me is about clean sheets. I want to see clean sheets this year. It's boring and it's not very, very, very sexy, but it's about clean sheets. And for me, the talk of that Kroenke came with, talking about they should be excited very soon, that they being the fans. You're saying we've now got optimism, we've not had that for a long time. What does Pepe make us optimistic about? Is signing Pepe making us think now, oh, we can come third now, second now?
No.
So then what is the optimism?
Optimism is about, of course, I agree with you. We need a centre-half and a left-back. I agree with the clean sheet business. We don't get that, we can't do anything. All of our problems come down to defending. We score goals. Aubameyang and Lacazette and whoever's shown that we will score goals, we'll score goals with Pepe. I fully agree it comes down to defending. Where I said optimism is because there's no way around it. He's not a big name player, but it's a big name for us sort of thing. So it gives fans something to be behind. Our fans have been doom and gloom, and you know how divided we are.
But you know what's more important than a big name? And I don't care how much, 80 million or 8 million. What's more important for me than a big name signing is the right signing. I would happily take 2 £8 million centre-backs if they were good. I don't need a big price tag. I'll take 2, but I'm not sure we are. I think a lot of fans, Arsenal fans, are being blinded by the excitement of spending £80 million
and not looking at what we need.
I don't care about the price. I don't care about that. Give me the players that we need, not the players that we want.
You know what it is, Jordan? I very rarely disagree with you here, but coming into the back end of the season, as much as we was the 3rd top scorers in the league, there was a lot of matches from game 1 to game 38 where we struggled to really string together like successful attacks, and I believe
just trying to find collagen.
That's so vital them times. You know? So going into the transfer window, as much as centre back is a problem, and it's been a problem for so many years,
and remains one,
I think as much as that is a problem, the wings were as big a problem as centre back.
Really?
Nah. Centre half slightly
You're
above
putting
that.
the wings need on the par with a centre back.
You know why I say that?
Centre half, man.
How many wingers do we have? Last season, how many wingers did we have at Arsenal Football?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Still scored how many goals?
But how many did we have? Like literally wingers. How many did we have?
If you could count, it would be.
At a time we saw Mkhitaryan nose like there.
We had no wingers.
And scored how many goals in attack in total?
3rd most. I think we got 50.
Right. So it wasn't that big a problem.
I think last year
I see 51 goals conceded.
But we relied heavily on Emery chopping and changing, and at times when it wasn't working, there was something I read where 16 games where Laka and Oba didn't score a goal, we only won 4 of them. So we kind of need
someone
else in that attack, and we can argue and debate whether it's centre back is more important. And I believe the centre back argument is there more so because of the longevity of time we've needed a centre back. We've needed a centre back for so long. I can't lie, I would have been more excited with Koulibaly signing, like probably you would have. But if we can sort out Pepe, sort him out now, and if we can sort out a big centre back off the back of that, because essentially when you look at Klopp sorted the attack first. He made the attack fluid, he made them scary, and then he added 1 or 2 pieces in the back line that really set them apart in the last season.
But don't saying that, I do think as much as we need a centre-half, and a centre-half has to come in for this season, I do think we need to look at the system, because obviously a quality centre-half would improve us, but time and time again you'll see frailties. I need to see us be a bit more proactive. Just what you said about Klopp. If you look at Liverpool's approach, it's still the same. They're still kind of gun-ho, aggressive and whatnot, but they're shutting games out now. They shut games out. There was a more emphasis on defending. Alisson and Van Dijk, they came and made the difference because they're quality players, but you could see a better emphasis on defending, on closing down spaces, on following runners. And you've seen us concede some silly goals in pre-season, not to be negative, but Dembele's header at the Emirates, free man. The goal, whoever scored for Ange, free runner, conceding identical goals. The second goal Dembele scored. So for me, we need a defender, but we need an emphasis on defending. That's why I'm with Jordan. Yeah, we'll always score good goals, and I agree with you. Wingers, we looked a bit out of sorts and out of place, but it all comes down to defending. There's been games where we've drawn 1-1, or we could have won, but we've gone a goal behind and we're now chasing it, and that's where it comes down to Emery changing the squad at half-time and whatnot. But I do believe if we can get the defence together with a proactive approach to defending, we can move forward as a club. Pepe is the icing on top of the cherry. I'm excited, but me and you spoke about this before the season. I was saying centre-half and left-back, I'll be more happy with that than an attacker. Obviously, I'm gassed Pepe's come, we're an Arsenal fan, and I don't have confidence that we can get top 4 with the current options. I want to be confident, but I can't.
Do you also now look at Curtis? For example, when you look at the teams around us for the top 4 battle, the reason Pepe, in my opinion, can get us top 4, if we couple it up with a Tierney and someone at the back, whether it be Tierney and a centre-back or not, because Man United haven't sorted out their problems. Chelsea can't sort their problems out, and they've lost their best player. So that gives me hope now that the movement we've done with Pepe and potentially Tierney and potentially a centre-back, I'm not going to go get gas now because you signed Pepe, because potentially we don't sign no one else.
You are a little bit. Dennis, come on.
We all are a little bit.
The last time Arsenal signed a player I want, I don't remember the last time. Do you know what I mean? We as Arsenal fans always want. Sanchez, I didn't know we could even get until the end of the season. Do you know what I mean? So Pepe, I wanted halfway through last season. Okay, so how do you see him fitting into the squad?
I mean, the thing is, I think he gives us flexibility. You look at us last year, there was too many times it was like we're waiting for Aubameyang or Lacazette to rescue us. I don't think our attacking structure was necessarily that great last year. It was a bit imbalanced. Iwobi and Mkhitaryan, they're almost like 10s playing out wide, cutting inside. We're fitting Mesut Ozil in because of his wage. And it's, when's Aubameyang and Lacazette going to score the winning goal for us? So I think now, if you look at the 2 best teams in the league, City and Liverpool, their wingers are the ones who cause most of the damage. It frees up the striker. So now, with Pepe on that side, we've got a ball carrier. Especially away from home, we've struggled away from home to get results. And a lot of the time, I think we can't hit teams on the counter-attack. We're quite slow 100%. And progressive through the line. So Pepe is a ball carrier, he can run.
Gives us an outlet.
He gives us an outlet. And obviously now, we don't even necessarily have to play all 3 of them every game. You can rest one, bring one of them on. I see you said
Yeah,
that. on
yeah,
your
yeah.
So
video
how do
earlier
we
as
go?
well.
What
Facts.
formation do we use? Because I'm worried for, you know who else I'm worried for? Reece Nelson. Because I actually thought
Baller.
Reece Nelson was going to be our starting right winger
Yeah.
until we signed Pepe. And Reece Nelson's not a left winger to cut in. So what happens to him?
Do you know what my worry was as well is Aubameyang in a way, because I think he'll want to go with 3 up top, and then you're pushing
Hold on now.
Aubameyang to the left, and
Yeah.
you put in the Golden Boot winner on the left, and I don't think he's great out there. So how can you fit Aubameyang and Lacazette through the middle, and then Pepe on one of the wings?
So let's say, okay, as we sit here right now with Pepe as a signing, what formation would you all go for? I'll start with you, Curtis.
I'd play 4-3-3.
4-3-3,
Yeah.
you're in
4-3-3
agreement?
as well, but more inside forwards. I actually would not mind when I was playing a 4-4-2, but I don't really know for our midfield pivot. I think that's where we'll see frailty, so I'm not too
Yeah,
sure.
you can expose it with
Yeah,
a
that would probably
4-4-2.
fit
What about you,
Nelson on
Jordan?
left and whatnot.
I'd go 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd go with that. I mean, I watched a lot of the videos on AFTV last year, and as was said earlier on, there's a lot of talk about the lack of wingers. I'm not completely convinced that Emery's system even has wingers. We
Emphasis
keep
on
saying we need
fullbacks,
wingers,
yeah.
but I'm not sure. I think the width that in his mind comes from Kolasinac and Bellerin. I'm not so sure we do need wingers, because the system that Emery, if I'm correct, wants to play is, I don't think it necessarily needs wingers. And also, in the last show I was here was with Lee,
Judges, yeah.
Lee Judges, and he made the point about where's the money gone? Why are we broke? Why are we doing things in installments, some catalogue business? We've got money. We've been brainwashed into thinking that it's a centre-back or a winger. Why is it a choice?
Yeah.
That's my question. Why is it Pepe or a centre-back? What are we? Are we
Both,
Barnsley? Are we Peterborough? What's
No,
what's
you're
going
right,
on?
100%. And this signing does kind of remind me of how excitement-wise I was when we signed Ozil. But when I look back at Ozil, we really didn't build on that like we really should have. People can argue we bought Sanchez then check, but we've done it over 3 summer windows.
Too long.
If you really mean business, you
You
buy
do it
them
all
3 in the
kinda,
same
yeah.
window. We've left ourselves with a week to go in the market. Maybe getting a top centre-back would be difficult with a week to go, negotiations-wise and whatnot.
I do think we will. This could be just blind faith. I do think we will get Tierney and a centre back over the line.
But will it be a top centre? Will it be a centre-back to
Probably
change
not.
our laws? Probably not.
Possibly not. But one thing, just going back to Pepe as well, is that one of the things that I was really happy about when it was announced that he was coming in was that at the time the talk was Liverpool, United, Napoli for
Bayern
sure, and
Munich.
PSG were all linked.
Yeah.
So I thought this is the first player we've signed
We beat them
that we've actually fought off top European teams since Sol Campbell.
Yeah, I mean,
He was the last player we
in
signed.
terms of
Yeah.
But then I found out from my people that actually the only team that was actually serious about trying to get him were Napoli.
Yeah.
All the other teams,
Edit that
his
out.
agent, all the other teams, his agent linked with. So Liverpool, United, and PSG weren't actually that serious. We didn't actually beat them to the signing of Pepe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that kind of, when I heard that, was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because I heard similar, but with United, it's a case where they have to sell first, and with Liverpool, they
Okay.
couldn't offer him first team football, so
Okay.
it never got to a
Okay.
bid.
Never got to
Okay.
It
the
got
point.
between personal talks, but it never got further than that. Napoli offered exactly what we
They
offered
bid
in
it, do you know
terms
what I
of
mean?
first
So
team
yeah,
football.
yeah.
But like you said, the first time ever I've seen us beat any club. I remember
Top
when
European teams.
Louis
Right.
Gustavo went to Wolfsburg over Arsenal
That's
one
right,
year.
that's
So
right,
we've
yeah.
actually beaten a top club, a Champions League club, to a signing. Is that a sign of things to come? I hope so. I can't guarantee it because, like I said, with Ozil, we didn't build off the back of that well either.
And it's nice that we've made a major signing without losing someone.
Yep.
We bought Aubameyang because Sanchez went. You know, we're building on the attack we've already got. I seen a thing the other year where it was saying, you know, on this day we had Giroud and Walcott and Jack Wilshere
Respect
as our
Giroud,
front
man,
three.
respect
And
Giroud,
when you look
respect
now
Giroud.
at our front three, it's amazing how good it is to say we've been in the Europa League for 3 years. So if we can get our defence at a similar level to the front line, who
Do
knows
you
how
put a
good-
lot of it down to Raul and Dinay
Yeah.
and Edu?
Yeah,
behind the
of course,
scenes?
of
Yeah,
course, of
definitely.
course.
They've installed hope in us.
They've been
again.
active, so fair, you know, fair, I don't think they've done the signings that I'd have liked, but they've been active.
Yeah,
fair
they pulled
play
weight.
to them.
Yeah.
What
And,
can you say?
and for me, one of the most exciting things I'm excited about now is that we won't win the Premier League, but that front line of Pepe, Aubameyang, and Lacazette, that's just too much swag.
Yeah,
There's going to be
yeah,
a lot of goal celebrations. I'm looking forward to that because
Yeah, yeah.
in a swag kit as well. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
be fun. I'm not sure we'll win anything,
Yeah.
but it's going to be fun. And the not winning anything makes me quite sad because I'm not sure that we will.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're going to have a lot of fun doing
Have
it.
sauce.
Yeah, yeah.
Would
Winning-
you buy
winning
the
stuff
kit?
is
There's a
in
lot
the
of
back
sauce
of my
there.
mind right now. Like,
Scenes when we lose to that uni team in Cardiff.
Champions League is the be all and end all this year. Do you know what I mean?
Priority.
Winning things, like I said, is the back of my mind because we're not at that stage where maybe we can win an FA Cup.
Cup or something.
But is it something I want to go for next season? Not particularly. No, I want to try and get Champions League
Yeah.
football. And we do that through top 4 or through Europa League. So the Pepe signing for me, it really does give us a lot of hope to get top 4 because when I look at the teams now, look, Man United are struggling with Lukaku and Dybala and Fernandes, but Spurs have looked to come into suit for Fernandes. Now, if Spurs do get a Fernandes in, a Lo Celso in, then they might secure themselves a top 3 spot because they are closer to that than any of the other teams in the top 6. But then it leaves that one there, and like I said, with Chelsea and United, Chelsea are going to finish 6th this season.
You think?
They're going to finish 6th.
I can't put my finger. I can give a prediction for United and Spurs, but I can't put my finger on Chelsea. They might finish 3rd. They might finish 7th.
I think there's
I
no
can't
way
work
they're
out
going to
Chelsea
finish
yet.
top 4.
You don't think?
Losing Hazard. Losing Hazard's such a big thing.
It is, but I mean, it's a bit of a cliche. But sometimes losing your best player can galvanise a team. They've got a decent defence, which we don't have. It is, but if they concede less goals than Arsenal and United, they won't have to score a bucket load.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean? So I can't quite work out where I stand on Chelsea.
It's a shootout between the 3 for the last spot.
I think so.
Yeah, then again, but I see all 3 defences pretty much the same. They're all a bit of a mess. Chelsea's just the top of a little shit pile.
Yeah.
If United
I mean, Rudiger, Luiz, they're not the...
But I still think they have that kind of residue of Jose and Conte. That the players might not be great, but they have that thing.
Coaching sort of.
The coach is still there.
It's
how to defend, even if the players aren't great. Aspilicueta's kind of come into the end now. But do you know what I mean? Whereas we don't have a culture of anything to hold on to. Plus, we've got crap defenders. So it's like, I think their defence is a unit. I would think they would concede less goals than us and United. So they might not have to score the goals that Hazard was scoring last year.
Just on what he said about units, it got me thinking, defensively, obviously, Bio and Wendell is down to the defenders, down to the back 5, including Leno. But I cannot lie, as much as this defence has been poor, if you look at some of the goals last season, there was a sequence. At times, the front line could have stopped it, or it would be a midfielder not tracking a runner or closing down someone. 100%. So that's where it brings me back to my point about, as much as we need a defender and we need Pepe to do what he needs to do on the flanks, there needs to be a greater emphasis on the teams defending, because the players are proactive in an attacking sense. They're all making runs and trying to get onto the ball. Defensively, people are switching off, and that's what pains me. You can see runners on the TV or live, and people are caught flat-footed time and time again. Until we learn to be a bit more proactive and not reactive, our issues are going to persist here. So that's the one thing I want to see us make some movements in this upcoming season, because that's what's going to make the difference.
And that's kind of what brings me back to my point, why I said that the wings and centre back were equal priorities to me at the end of the season.
Facts.
Because the way I look at it is, when a team's going to defend Chelsea, when a team's going to play Liverpool, when a team's going to play Man City, they're worried about Hazard, they're worried about Salah, Mane, they're worried about De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Sané, Mahrez, whoever on Man City. We don't have that worry on the counter. We have Oba and Laka all the way up there, but in between we have
nothing in it.
And Ozil that underperformed last season, and hopefully he can kick on with Pepe coming in because it takes some of the focus off him. But it gives the teams we're playing something to think about defensively.
Rather than letting their fullbacks overlap.
But the difference is those two teams have good defences.
Now,
Liverpool and City have good defences. As well as their attackers are a problem for the opposition, they also have good defences behind. We don't.
And the whole team's
when you look after Pep's first season, he got into top 4 with Man City with a poor defence. Klopp managed top 4 with a poor defence, and then they sorted the defence out.
It wasn't as poor as ours.
Liverpool's was.
No, it was dead.
Who's their back four, man?
Matip,
says it all.
Lovren and all them.
He was dead.
Lovren, Clash,
and he's got Lovren playing okay now. He had Matip playing okay.
And the thing is,
they changed like this, literally. Their defensive fortunes changed like that. Alisson and Van Dijk in the next season, they was a completely different animal. So hopefully that's what we do off the back of this. I don't see it happening with a week to go. The centre back we need, it needs to be a Konate, a Upamecano. Koulibaly's probably gone now. It needs to be a centre back like that.
Or does it? Just going back to what you were saying about systems. I mean, good defenders don't necessarily make a good defence. You don't need 4 top defenders to have a good defence.
It's about understanding.
So it's about it's about work. It's about coaching on the training ground. So if Emre decides that Holding and Socrates are going to be my 2 centre backs with Bellerin when he's back and say Monreal, for example. It's about, and Leno the keeper, working with that. And also the 2, this is why I was saying I want 2 in front. Because I think it should be Torreira and Ceballos. You've got a ball controller and you've got a ball winner as well. And they let the guys do their things going forward, and you have the full-backs not bombing forward. So they're rigid in it and they stay back and let the front 4 do their thing.
No, we need our fullbacks to go, man. We just need to, because you look at Liverpool's, they're always they just come back.
If we got 2
they're not good enough.
I don't think we're good enough as a unit to have our fullbacks going forward.
And that's where it comes to the system.
So I would say Bellerin and Monreal, don't
Stay
cross
For
the
now,
halfway
just
line.
stay back now, yeah.
Because we've got the four up front,
We
they're
have
going
got a
to
lot
cause
of
damage, and you've got the ball hands, basketball. You've got the ball controllers and
Yeah.
the ball winners that are going to do the dirty work in the midfield.
Yeah.
Well, our problem is we get caught with a few numbers at the back way too often.
No, I agree. But the only thing I think with what a new signing brings is like we've all played football. Yeah, when you play with a guy that you know is prone to a mistake, you've always
Confidence
got
gone.
that in the back
Yeah.
of your mind.
You're
You've
on
always
edge,
got
aren't
that.
you?
Whereas
Yeah.
all these Arsenal defenders now, the batch of them, they're all prone to a mistake or two. Even Socrates, we was impressed with him last season. But he's a bit
Pre-season, he's been a
reckless.
bit-
when
He is
he
reckless.
falls in front of people on purpose, could concede penalties, free kicks, whatever else. If you bring in a Van Dijk, it just turns everyone's head to be like, you know what?
Let's fix
We're
up.
with a boss right now,
Yeah.
and it improves them a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
Trying to learn in-house is going to be difficult.
A little bit. I mean, I don't think if you put Van Dijk in our back four, would be that much better personally. I think the whole back four needs transforming. But if you're not going to do that as in one window, then work with what you've got to make them all 10% better.
Yeah.
So let's
Do you
go
know
to
what I mean?
Tierney quickly then, because obviously Tierney, we've been strongly linked with him. Hopefully it does go over the line. But my thing with Tierney is, surely left back was the least of the worries in terms of the whole defence.
No, that's a priority,
It's
bro.
a big problem.
I think we need the right back and a left
Do
back
centre
personally.
back, right back, left back in terms of priorities.
Centre back.
Centre half, left back, and right back, because obviously, like you see, when Bellerin's injured, we're pressed. Left back, I like Kolasinac, but at the end of the day, modern fullbacks have to go forward. You need to be able to defend. I love him. I definitely like him even more after the knife thing, but he needs to be able to defend. The frailties are there. Monreal, similar to what you said about Aspilicueta, Monreal is showing that he's kind of declining. I don't want to harp on about pre-season, but if you've seen him over pre-season, he does look a bit jaded and whatnot. So we've got 2 question marks over the left backs. If we can, like he said about fixing up with the defence and building, if you can get Kit Tierney, which, what is he, 22, 23.
Yeah.
Bellerin's not that much older. Holding or whoever's not that much older. Leno's not that much older. Leno was brought in to cut. If you bring in Leno, you need to have a competent back five that you're going to move forward
Because
with.
you ruin him as well.
Exactly. So you give them 5, you let them train and whatnot, and you build them up and you go from there. And that's my big thing. You do that, and then you marry in the defensive aspects from the midfielders and the strikers. Because as much as I'm harping on about defenders, I think even the 2 in Lacazette and Aubameyang, I think everyone in this team defensively gets away with a lot. You go and look at the Brightons, the United at Old Trafford. Go and look at the sequences of errors, because it's never just one man that makes a mistake. You might see Mustafi in the headline, but look at the build-up. Exactly.
I think a right back, when you think about it, we haven't actually got a right back. I'm not a big fan of Kolasinac, and Monreal is kind of declining. But at least we've got 2 left backs.
They're in it, yeah.
We haven't got a right back.
Aside from
Who's our
Bellerin,
right back?
That's why I put left back last on the list. I put centre back, right back, and left back.
yeah.
But it
I
looks
think
like
that's
we're
fair.
focused on the left back side of things.
Yeah.
Like the only way it would make sense to me is if you bring Tierney in and you let Kolasinac go for a fee and you make some money back and then you save some wages. That's the only way for me it makes any sense. Otherwise you got Tierney, Monreal and Kolasinac.
All 3 left back.
And
Unless
so-
he views,
go on.
unless
Go
he
on.
views Monreal as like a centre back now, and he can play in the 3.
And it's his last year, really. If
It's
we're
his
honest,
last
it's
year.
Monreal's last year. He's a competent man. He can fit in and that, even though he is declining. So I do think we should go for a left back. On his logic, it does look like we should be going for a right back.
And the first thing I said on your last show again, even before we talk about Zaha coming in, I said, why are players not going out? Before we bring players in, the first thing we should have been doing,
Before,
the last
yeah.
thing, clear the decks. Why is Callum Chambers still there? Why is El Nene still there? This is 5 million here, 5 million there. That can get you a right back.
You got
That's
to
10
save
million.
Mustafi as well.
Maybe no one wants.
Mickey. We're not even going to them names.
Can't let them get we can't do Chambers dirty.
We can't sell Mkhitaryan. What's going on?
Wages,
Big
man.
wages,
Wages
200 grand nearly.
And then that money that you make back from those signings, even if it's at a half price, I know that's not how business always works, but clear the decks. And that money you invest in a right back, that's a 15, 20 million pound right back. Boom.
I think we're struggling
Why are we
to
still-
move a lot of
Yeah, I
these
don't think
guys.
nobody
are.
wants
We-
these
we
guys.
are.
I think we're
Players.
overpricing them
Yeah,
at the
no-
same time.
Yeah.
I just don't think no one wants them. They're on high wages. They're
Yeah,
inconsistent. If you
yeah.
want them, you're going to lowball Arsenal or you want a loan. Because really, if anybody does want Mustafi, if I wanted Mustafi, I'm either trying to get him for 5 to 10 million or loan with an option to buy. And I'm going to do Arsenal dirty and say I don't want him at the end of the season. If he shows some consistency when he goes on loan then or whatever, then cool. But if you are going out there for a defender, are you going for Mustafi? Obviously, football's a weird game. Someone will buy him eventually, but allegedly
don't
we've
know,
tried
you
to.
know.
Yeah, allegedly we've tried to sell him every summer, and he's still here, and he's contracted until 2021. For as much as I think he lacks ability, he looks comfortable with the team, with Ozil and that. He's in London. He's got a young family. What's going to force him out? What's going to really force him? There's a lack of
I
serious.
just think Arsenal are the only team that face these problems, man.
Because
Yeah.
Liverpool don't, do they? When they're
People
selling?
get
They
people
20
off the
million
books,
for
man.
people they don't even want.
Yeah, like, I
I
don't
think
understand
it's
why
about
it's
getting people
always
off the
us.
books as well. I think you have to take a hit Just take the hit.
Say-
And that's what they don't seem to want, because if you look at the Koscielny issue, it's like, just let the youth go, man.
Just
Not
let
even
him
the
take
youth,
2
let the
million.
man go.
Take
like.
2
Take
million
the
from
hit.
anything, yeah.
But
just
it's
get-
like we just don't want to hold any L's no more. But in reality, this is not
Clear
an
the
L.
decks,
Just let the
get
guy
those
go.
guys out. They
Yeah.
don't want to be here. They're eating up
Yeah,
a lot of wages. That's how you move forward.
Yeah.
You
Move
don't want to
forward
spend
with the man that are
money,
here.
but at least get back some money from the guys that aren't playing ball and spend that on a right back.
Or just
that
a
on
base
left
for
back.
Emery to work with, players that want to be here, players that are actually competent. Because then we can start asking questions of Emery. Because right now you can't really. Obviously he signed for this club, you can, but it's all the previous regime and whatnot. He's got Pepe. If you bring him a left back and a centre half, now we can look at his system, what he's doing and not
Going
doing.
to him,
Yeah,
then, you know,
then
it's
oh
like-
yeah, yeah.
Already it started with the Pepe signing. I think.
Exactly.
And now he's got Pepe in. He's already came out and said we was looking at the wings and centre back defensively as our priorities this summer. Well, you've got one of them in. I'm assuming you're going to try and sort out the next one with a loan.
He's been talking about that from January.
If that
the centre half.
happens, then the pressure goes to Emery. Like, okay, Kroenke has done his job in terms of what he has to do
Investment
in the
and that.
transfer window. It does go to Emery, and with 1 year left on his contract.
Are they sitting there looking, going, we can't get a centre back of the standard we need? Because remember when Liverpool, they bought Van Dijk in January,
Yeah.
and they left him at the start, and Klopp kind of said, I won't buy unless I get the one I want.
I'd prefer
When you
that.
look around Europe now, there aren't many good centre backs
There is.
available.
I'm not having that.
No, but scouts must can do
without
their job,
being
man.
Get your
big
scouts
money,
working.
Scouts
They're
must
out
can
there.
do it because
Saliba was out there. We
no,
found
but
him.
think about every
And he
centre
might
half
not
that
be sick.
yeah.
We don't even know how good
No,
Saliba
well,
is.
from what I've been told,
Yeah.
we've got a great young defender on our back. But they're
Every
out there.
centre half had to start somewhere. Every established
big
centre
world.
half was someone that was unknown, and Koscielny wasn't. He's not of the maddest standard of centre halves all time. But when he came, I'm sure many people didn't know him. He had a tough period, but he became competent for a sec.
They're out there.
Scouts must be able to do their
They're
jobs.
out
They're
there. Get
paid
your
to
scouts
watch football
working.
in all these leagues
Yeah,
and whatnot.
agree.
You must can find someone.
Do you know what it is? Like when you
Easier
sign,
said
when
than
you
done,
sign
but
a
it must
player
can.
that's been scouted, yeah, it's like
Question
okay,
marks.
let's see what he's gonna do. When you sign a Koulibaly, he's
I hear that
coming
and I
in
agree,
to
but
sort it out.
I hear that and I agree, but scouts should do their job for one, and two, based on how we defended last season, can these, whether they're unknown or established, can they do much worse? Like, can they really? If it's
Do we
some
need
unknown guy
someone
from
established though,
yeah,
really?
yeah, no, I would
You
like
know
that.
what I mean?
Obviously, I would like established players. You know who they are
Yeah,
and
and what
whatnot.
they
Then a scouted person. But at the end of the day, I just want someone that's competent, consistent, loves defending, defends
yeah.
first, and is proactive.
And what happened to coaching?
That's it.
Scout is
Coaching.
not the window, but why not coach? You're saying you're not sure about holding. I get that. I actually think he's got something in him. Coach him.
Coach
So
that.
make sure, have a target that in 3 years' time, you'll be England's centre back. Have a 3-year plan. In 3 years' time, we're going to make sure that you're England's number one.
Yeah, no, it's not even like
Why
I'm
not?
doubting
Coach
him. I just
people.
haven't seen enough of him.
Because I think he's still very naive. I like Holding, but I think he's naive. He dives in a
Coach
lot. You
people,
look at
man.
that penalty against Spurs, he dives in. But I think there's something to work with there. Like, it's sad because when he got into the team finally, was getting a bit of form and was looking okay. He obviously got the injury at Old Trafford, but coaching's a big part of this role. As much as I feel Emre's given a shorthand, he knew the role he was walking into. Same way with PSG and Arsenal. You know, obviously there's money now, but there was no money. Coaching is a big part of this, and he has improved certain players. So we got to get that coaching out there. And I don't care if a player signed for 90 million or 90 or nine pounds or something. As long as someone can defend, like how hard is football at the end of the day? If you can defend, if you can clear your lines, if you push up, does it
Goes
matter
back
how
to
much
the
you bought
sexy
for?
names thing you said.
Yeah,
last
like-
episode,
I
We all
don't-
love them nice
We
names
like
and
them
that,
big
but
names, yeah.
We do, and I get it. I get it, but I think we need to stop asking the question, how good is he? And the question is, how does this work? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes a guy that makes it work isn't the sexy name. And the sexy name, Sanchez to Man United, doesn't make it work. So it's about, does this player make us better? Does this player make us work? I've never heard of him, but does he make us better? Okay, cool, I want that guy. It's only 4.5 million, don't care, I want him.
yeah, bring that.
But he's 90
Like you
million.
were
No,
saying,
I want that
think
guy.
We just need defenders who want to defend. I
Defend,
don't look
yeah,
at our defenders and think they want to head every ball.
Socrates is the only one that looks
he
at
wants to
basketball.
be
I think
clumsy
that's
with
a
it.
football problem, though, to be fair. I don't think many defenders out there like defending, period.
Yeah, it's changing now.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
still,
mean?
they
There's
want
not,
the ball
I think that's a
now,
football problem.
But when you look at the other
Fair
teams that are up there now, you see Man City and Liverpool, they spend an awful lot on their defence. They brought the sexy names in, and that's what's worked for them. It's only really Tottenham that have managed to slip
Wow,
under the
you say
radar.
that, but they've bought Mangala still there. He was expensive. He's not worked out.
That's our Mustafi.
Yeah,
They can
exactly.
afford to make that mistake. though,
So they
can't
they do make dud expensive. Do you know what I
as
mean?
we do, it's just that we don't back it up by sorting it out. We just ride the
We
wave.
just let it sit and
until-
rot.
Yeah, we just
Eat
see out
bench.
their contract.
Yeah, so that's
We just
why
hope
I
that
truly
they'll change
believe
and
that
that.
defensively we need a massive outlay defensively.
I agree.
I think the only one out there that would, I keep on saying his name is Koulibaly, that's the only one out there that I would spend 80 million plus on, or 80 million. aside from
you're
him,
talking 120. They're going to want 123.
but aside from him,
Bands
I'm
we ain't
going
got.
down the list, and it goes back to younger centre backs with more potential. So if it's not Koulibaly, then it's going to be a risk, in my opinion.
Can
And
I
Dunk
just-
is not 30.
No, allow
Maguire's
That-
not
that-
30.
allow them
and
guys.
these
I
men
don't
are
mind
30.
Maguire, to be
No,
fair.
allow both of them.
Maguire's
But-
all right, but he's overpriced.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
overpriced. We ain't got
I
bands
wouldn't
for that
pay
at the end of the day.
money for
Like,
Yeah.
Them men are top championship. Who thinks that Arsenal get top 4?
I ain't gonna be first to answer that.
Do you know what? I think if we get Tierney in a good centre back, I think we can get top 4. Only if we do that, though.
Do you think we get top 4?
Yeah, I do.
You
know.
do?
Yeah.
Right now in July, no. Right now, I need to see. I need to see them give me something to believe it. I would love us to. I love my club, but I can't see it. I'd love it to be true. Pepe makes me more confident, but I can't see it because again, we just spoke about defending, and I haven't seen nothing to suggest that we're going to be able to go to XYZ team away from home and keep a clean sheet or walk away with points when we deserve to. So that's what you need
United
to do.
and Chelsea are going to face similar problems. That's why
They are,
I'm
but-
saying I've got hope that
They
we
are,
will.
but this season, how many times before a game, United dropping points, this team dropping points, we go into that game, we take 3 points, we're laughing, and we messed up and
Yeah,
got
yeah.
many chances. So it goes back to the mental
It's the
aspect of
mental,
our players.
yeah.
Like, you know what you need to go out there and do. So, and if I see these things change and I get behind them, like last season, I said we weren't going to get top 4, and then I came on your show, the team was showing me something.
Yeah.
They have to convince the fans. They have to show the fans. That's the one thing I like about that Pepe signing. Like you said, they have to back it up, and if certain things aren't done, they're not done. But seeing is believing for me. If they start keeping clean sheets, they start winning tough games, I'm not saying improve massively defensively, but if I can see we're still conceding, but you're a bit more switched on, you try to kind of stop that from happening, then I can get behind. I can say, okay, we're developing, we're learning from our mistakes. But right now, removing optimism, I can only just go on last season, and
So
I have
even
to
if
say
you
no.
bring Tierney in, you don't think?
No, it can all change, but no, I don't see anything. For me, it's the centre half. If I see a new centre half in that back line, or we defend differently within that back line, I'll say yeah.
So right now, obviously, sorry, I'm sticking on to you, but I just want to know, obviously, Man City, Liverpool, Tottenham, you're assuming. So who's the fourth that you think will finish above us?
I think it's a shootout between us,
so you
Chelsea
think
and
it's
United.
like a-
Yeah,
it's-
whoever wants that sort of play, sort of thing. Even Spurs, based on last season, didn't have the best of campaigns domestically, but I just feel they've got a good knit bunch of players, Pochettino and that, they'll get there.
I
What
think
about
they
you,
get
Jordan?
second. I think they might get second, you know. Spurs.
Hope
I
not.
think they're going to
Over
push
who?
Liverpool.
Over Liverpool?
Yeah, I think they're going to push Liverpool all
Please,
the way.
no.
You think Man City's not doing it?
No, I think they win the
City will
league.
win the league.
I think
Oh,
Spurs will
saying
push
yeah,
Liverpool
second.
for second. Yeah, I've got
Liverpool-
a
What about
horrible
you for top
feeling.
4, Arsenal?
I think if we get Tierney in the centre back in, I would fancy us over Chelsea and United. But I've got not a lot of faith that we'll get both those players
It
in.
can all change if United buy Maguire and Fernandes, or Maguire and
Barlow
Dybala.
and all them
Yeah.
guys. Yeah,
Barlow.
it's still a
But does it? Because it's still Solskjaer in charge.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's still Solskjaer in charge.
do
I
to you?
think
Just
we'll go
catch
by
it.
Christmas.
It's his first
No, I
time
mean,
here.
but you know what I mean? If they can have the players in, if the manager behind it isn't doing the thing,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter who you bring
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
So I'm not convinced. I think Solskjaer's a problem there, personally, not who they,
So
have,
deep.
who they haven't or haven't. Do you know what I mean?
But then
true,
Mourinho
but man's been there for a
before,
sec.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about those guys coming. I don't think it really matters if they get Maguire and Fernandes or not. I think the problem is, have they got the right manager?
Yeah, yeah, and that probably comes down to us as well. Have we got the right manager?
Probably all three clubs to be
We'll find
fair.
out this
Chelsea.
year.
Yeah,
won't
when
we,
you look
really?
past that,
Yeah.
Lampard's was a great player in the Chelsea.
Yeah.
Boy, what has he done and whatnot? Because
And
there
more-
are some people that say it's a bit
Even
mixed
back
at
to
Derby.
Tottenham, if Tottenham don't get this signing of Fernandes or Lo Celso, are they really up there? Or because they lost 19 games last season, are they really up there, closer to City or Liverpool? Are they closer to us? Because every year they don't win something is another year where they suffer some mental damage, because it's another year where they read the
They're like,
papers
yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's all
And
this
they got to a
Audi
final.
Cup stuff.
Lucas
Bob,
Moura
it's
being
gonna
silly,
piss-
yeah.
You are
it's gonna
mocking
piss
the
fans
team,
off.
man.
It's going to
You
piss certain players off, like let's say
They're not
Harry
winning
Kane or
trophies, yeah.
Ericsson. Like that's not a trophy.
No, that's not.
And a
trophy
couple
one.
players
I
been
don't
up in
believe
there as
Tottenham
well.
unless they get this Fernandes or Lo Celso, and then
I think
top
they
3.
will. I think they will. But you've got, what's interesting about Tottenham for me is that people keep saying, oh, if they don't win a trophy, they're going to lose their best players. No one's calling for Ali at the moment. No one's calling for Ericsson. No one's calling for all these players that are going to apparently leave Tottenham. Where are they going to go?
And the last two you said in Ericsson and Toby, I swear their contracts is
Yeah,
a bit.
Toby's got a year
Could've
left.
got
They,
Arsenal.
they came out, oh, we want to go, and they realised, oh, no one's
No one's on
for
us, innit?
So
Rose as well.
Where are they going to go? Rose as well.
Yeah, Rose as well.
So they might have to keep that core team.
Only Trippier's
They've
did.
got Dembele,
But you can see the
as well.
focus is going off the players. Year on year, there's more rumours
Maybe.
about their players leaving.
Maybe.
What Ericsson and Alderweireld with a year left. Us Arsenal fans know what it's like to have 2 big players with a year left on their contract.
Pressure.
Do you know what I mean? So
They'd have to sell
I think
one.
they'll sign. I think they'll
They
sign.
probably could,
I
yeah,
think
they
they'll
probably have
sign.
to stop showing
And
off.
I think Spurs, if they play it right, can get them to sign on their terms.
If they
Yeah.
get Fernandes though, is that not Eriksen's place in the
Yeah.
team. Really. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, is he going Real Madrid if they're going for him?
Potentially, because it doesn't look like Pogba's happening. It looks like Pogba's too expensive and they didn't let Bale go, so that would have had a knock-on effect on the market.
On that deal, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know, like, all in all, Jordan, are you excited for this coming season?
No, but I'm a lot more excited than I thought I would be.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah.
Deluded.
I can't lie, I wasn't, but now that Pepe's here, I'm a bit excited. Well, look, yeah, I'm gassed.
Exactly
That. Exactly. I can't wait for the season to start.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
when it starts, we'll be stressed. But yeah, I'm excited, man. We're missing football.
Yeah,
really, man.
Curtis?
Why should we not be excited?
Yeah.
You know, this is the type of signing we want. You know, I'm sure in a month or two when we've just lost at Burnley or somewhere, we'll be on here going crazy again. But at the moment, I'm excited, man. I'm happy.
Just briefly on that, we mustn't build this signing up as like a Bergkamp signing.
Yeah,
or an
yeah,
Ozil.
yeah.
It's
He's
not-
still
it's not
developing
that.
in that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
Pepe.
yeah.
Let's have it right.
Yeah.
It's Pepe.
Yeah,
it's not
we're not-
like
we're
we
not
signed
saying that.
Ozil,
Yeah, yeah.
we signed
Yeah, yeah,
Bergkamp.
Yeah.
When we signed those guys, I was excited because
Yeah.
we knew what you were getting. This guy looks like a real problem,
But he's still
but
developing.
he's still developing.
Can't
So
get
let's
away
let's
from
not
the
put it.
price
Let's
tag
not
as well, yeah.
gas it up too much.
Yeah, of course, because
Do you know what I
let's
mean?
not forget
Yeah,
that Man
100.
City buy 60 million Mahrez to go on the bench, or
Yeah,
Liverpool
yeah,
are trying to
exactly.
buy Pepe to go on the bench. So
Yeah.
at Arsenal's point in time right now, it's a big signing,
Yeah.
definitely. But it's a signing that you build on, you build around, and you move forward with.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a signing you rest on your laurels and say your job is
Carry
done.
the
Yeah.
team.
You know what I mean? So
100%.
I am excited for this season to see Pepe especially.
It's good to see you smiling, man.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that. There's quite a few of my videos, you know. A lot of people saying smiling, screenshot it now. Because like someone said, if we go to lose to Newcastle away, this is done. I see some negative
Trust
stuff
me,
up there.
trust me.
Emery up there, get
Trust
him
me.
out.
That's the reality,
You're on
though. You
Ozil's
get me?
neck.
We need to have a good start to the season. Like,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
need
we
to have a
do.
positive
We've
start.
got some
man.
big
got a
teams
tough
quickly
run.
as well. Like.
Tough run
If
at
we
the
get 6
start.
points out of Newcastle and Burnley, yeah, obviously Liverpool way is going to be F, yeah. So let's
Free hit.
put that one to the
The
side.
thing is, we should
but
be going to Liverpool
gonna say,
with optimism.
yes,
we shouldn't be going
let's
there
go there
just
and put it on
accepting
them.
the defeat,
If we
should
lose, we lose. But let's
Yeah.
go there and put it on them.
Go and
yeah,
try
but
and
you
beat
can't be
Probably
excited
will lose,
about
but
going
let's-
Liverpool
Yeah,
right
No,
now.
I'm
it
not
comes back to the
excited,
that's the
defence
thing.
at
Yeah, 'cause,
Liverpool,
yeah,
man.
Are they going to keep a clean sheet
Yeah.
up there? Probably
Not even a clean sheet. I wouldn't mind conceding against Liverpool. You know what you're going to get. Anfield, fans on top of you. Liverpool there might be pressure. Are the players going to sit there and go, okay, Lacazette or whoever, let's sit and 2 banks of 4 for right now. Let's let everyone
Make
not
it
show off. Let's
Learn
just,
lessons.
let's just be
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
You've
for
been
now.
Liverpool now enough
Yeah.
times to know what's happening.
Game management.
Are you going to
no.
learn the lessons?
And
We're gonna
Emre
go
can
there.
tell these things,
Agree.
but I
Totally
think
agree.
players get away with a lot. Players are not promoted to think for themselves.
Yeah.
Whenever they're winning, it's all the players. When it's losing, it's all the manager. And I do think Emre deserves some criticism, but these players get away with a lot. Do you think Klopp or Pep, he has to tell these players the ramifications of winning or losing? He's just a positive voice in their head, reiterating certain things. I think these players would like to win, but I don't think they'll die to win because it's tough.
That's it.
All
That's
these
it.
times, we always say on our day, when the sun's shining at the Emirates, you know we can play any team. The problem is, it's a 38-game league. There's going to be times we're simply not at it, people are not at it, and we need to find a way to win it. Hopefully Pepe comes and he can do that, but it goes beyond him. It goes to the team. We need to have that grit. If we get that grit, that determination to do them things together with defensively, then I'll have all the optimism in the world, but I don't really see a lot of that right now, so I'm
You're
60%.
Right, that's the biggest
Hashtag
job.
clean
That's the
sheets.
biggest
Yeah,
job.
literally,
Hashtag clean
start
sheets.
that up. Yeah, literally. That's an agenda, next agenda.
Next agenda. I hope Emery's mentality now sort of goes into these players because he's
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
rid of a lot of these like Wenger players that we used to talk
Well,
about.
he's trying. but-
Mm.
He's
He's
trying,
trying his
well,
hardest,
some
yeah.
of them, but yeah. So I'm hoping now because I might even buy the shirt now. You know,
Gassed.
I've been holding
British
off on the
gas.
shirt.
That
you know?
away shirt.
That might get me to get
Well,
the
they can
shirt.
spend
I'm not gonna
70
lie.
mil, then I'm sure you can
That
spend
away
60
shirt.
pounds.
Quid, innit? Or I might bootleg it if not. You know? You know?
No, but listen, we've all kind of said that we're a bit more excited than we was a couple of weeks ago, that's for sure. Appreciate you coming down,
Thanks a
Curtis.
lot,
Thanks
bro.
for coming down.
Thanks for having me,
Deluded,
bro.
as always. Jordan, thank you for coming. What, your Talk Sports show, 1 a.m.
Extra time, 1 a.m. every Thursday, 1 till 6 in the morning.
1
So
till
if you're a
6.
cabbie or if you're a milkman or if you're
Tune in.
abroad, lock in.
Well, I start work at
Yeah.
5:30, so I'm listening. You're on Deluded. What's your channel?
Oh yeah, just Deluded Gooners, type that in on YouTube, you'll find everything, really. That's it, really, yeah, man.
And Curtis?
Yeah, Curtis Shaw 9. I'm just new on there, so have a look.
Yeah, build that.
Build
Obviously,
that up,
you know
man.
what you're talking about. But this has
Yeah.
been the Supporters Club. Nicolas Pepe, are you excited yet? Let us know in the comments below. If you haven't already, go to the link in the description, Turkish London TV, subscribe to my channel. And until the next time, yeah, we're out.